And to talk more about the auction for the remaining luxury vehicles of the Discaya couple, we have BOC Deputy Chief of Staff, Attorney Chris Bendijo, joining us this morning. Good morning, Attorney. Thanks for being here on Morning Matters.
Hi, Ms. Pao. Good morning. Thank you for having me on your show.
All right, so Attorney, the last time you had an auction, only 3 vehicles were sold and they fetched a total of about 38 million pesos and all. And the BOC will have its second auction this Friday, December 5. Walk us through some of the changes that you will be implementing in order to gain more or higher bids and to secure a better turnout.
Well, the very first modification that we did is the adjustment of the floor price. We computed a higher depreciation factor to lower the minimum floor price. So hopefully, by lowering the amount, we will be enticing more bidders to participate. And with more competition, we're hoping that there will be clustering so that the bids could increase. But that would be the most substantial change that we'll be doing for this Friday. We will have public viewing December 2 and 3. Hoping for all other interested bidders to come and visit the BOC to see the vehicles for themselves so that they can actually, compute their bid, adjust it accordingly. And I guess with the floor price adjustment, we're really hoping for more bidders to participate.
So, Attorney, the public viewing began already yesterday, December 2, and also today. Have you seen stronger interest or more people taking a look at these vehicles?
Well, surprisingly, when we announced the auction to be on December 5, even prior to the public viewing, we already had one registration who paid for the registration fee, submitted the required documentary requirements. So we're hoping that this would start, a trend. We could hype it up some more, and we're thankful for your program to have this information dissemination, hoping that more bidders could participate this Friday.
Well, before we get to on who can participate in the bidding or the second bidding, I wanted to ask, Attorney, you did mention the lowering of the floor price. How much are we talking about? Are we talking about a significant amount? Because, syempre, may market value din po yan.
Yes. If I can mention them one by one, for the Toyota Tundra, the new floor price is at 3.472 million. For the Toyota Sequoia, it is at 4.8 million. For the Rolls-Royce, if you recall, this was at the 45 million range originally. It is now reduced to 36 million mahigit, no? For the Bentley Bentayga, this is at 13 million. This was originally at 17 million in the original auction. So substantially, we've lowered the prices. And from feedback from the previous auction, we received this comment from one of the participating bidders that if we lowered the Rolls-Royce to the 30 million range, they would be interested to participate in that auction. So hoping that that would be true, we're hoping for more participants in this Friday auction.
I guess ako personally, I'm curious about the Rolls-Royce. So you lowered it by 9 million pesos from 45 to 36. Meron na bang sure buyer yan? Is someone actually interested in this infamous Rolls-Royce vehicle of the Discayas?
Well, we're hoping that comments that we received during the first auction would be true. That if it would be reduced to the 30 million range, they would be participating in the next auction. So, as to whether or not that would be a sure bidder or buyer, we really can't tell until we conduct the auction on Friday.
Okay. So going back to my question, Attorney, who can really participate in these bids? Because the last time, I believe they were bid out to companies, Simplex Industrial Corporation and Le Central Jewelries. Meron po bang background check din na ginagawa, Attorney, dun sa mga buyer ng mga vehicles, considering that some of them even paid through cash?
That's correct, no? That's why we are requesting the interested bidders to submit their income tax returns or business tax returns with proof of payment and receipt by the Bureau of Internal Revenue, because we want to establish two things, no? First, we want to establish that they would have the capacity to pay for the items. Their income would be commensurate to their purchasing power or the ability to bid. Now, second, we would want to establish as well that they would not fall under those prohibited from participating in the bidding under Customs Administrative Order 3-2020. That would mean you're not a customs employee or official. You're not a consignee, importer, broker, or owner of the item that is subjected of the auction. So that's why we are requesting them to submit this, and that's why we also have a deadline for submission the day before the auction because we would need time to verify the documents as well. So there's background checking done naman.
Okay, so attorney, for this second auction, how much is the BOC expecting to earn from these 4 remaining vehicles?
For the remaining 4, we're anticipating a little above 50 million. And also, well, depending on how it will go, no, but we're also considering displaying some of the forfeited vehicles as well that will be subjected to direct offers. So if time would permit, depending again on how fast we can mobilize, how fast we can clean the vehicles, we might be displaying the Bugattis as well. And the commissioner has made it very clear, all forfeited vehicles, we will be expediting processes to make sure that we are able to convert them to revenue because the current state of our country, we are really in dire need of revenues.
Attorney, these forfeited vehicles, so meron pa pong na hindi sa mga Discaya?
That's correct, no? We have still an inventory of luxury vehicles in the port, and the commissioner gave instructions to display most of them, if possible, within or during the auction, so that we would be announcing as well which of the vehicles can be subjected to direct offers, because really, we want it to be fast-moving, or the commissioner wants it to be fast-moving, meaning to say that he is targeting maybe an auction maybe every 2 or 3 weeks until we fully maximize the inventory, maximize the value of the vehicles, because they are just depreciating. And instead of the government taking advantage of the value, we are losing value because of the depreciation. So the instruction given is to display, announce everything that's subject for auction, those that can be subjected for the direct offer, basically just convert everything to revenue.
Okay, but attorney, you were also quoted as saying that the BOC also retains the option of condemning or destroying these vehicles kung hindi pa rin po siya mabenta. So under what conditions will that happen exactly, where the BOC will choose destruction of these vehicles instead of just re-auctioning them?
Actually, what I mentioned was just remedies available to the Bureau of Customs. What can we do with respect to forfeited items? So the remedies under existing policy would be 1, to auction, 2, to donate to other government agencies, and 3, to condemn or to destroy. So it's really an alternative option on the part of the commissioner to exercise based on his discretionary power. But really, again, the inclination of Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno, given that our country really needs a budget, is really to convert everything to revenue instead of destroying them. Of course, the nature of the vehicles, it would also be inappropriate for us to donate it to other government agencies, So we cannot donate luxury vehicles, sports cars to other government entities, because it would be inappropriate for them to use them as well. So we're really limited to auction and direct offer. While that condemnation is available, the inclination of Commissioner Ariel is not to exercise this power.
May timeline po ba yun, attorney? So how long will you be willing to accept direct bids or yung possible donation nga rin before ultimately yung condemnation?
Well, under the existing policy, we have to subject the items to 2 biddings at the minimum. So if there would be 2 failed biddings, that's the only instance that the Bureau of Customs is allowed to entertain and consider direct offers. But even if we consider direct offers, that does not mean that we are not allowed to exercise other functions or other remedies. And even if we consider the direct offer, the commissioner would still have the power to consider whether or not it's acceptable, to entertain other offers. There are still processes for that. So that's the only instance that direct offers can happen if there is already 2 failed biddings.
Attorney, I want to go back to the root of the problem, kung bakit nakapasok nga itong mga vehicles din ng mga Discayas. And based on the BOC's investigation, I understand that customs officials found that the import entries of these 7 particular vehicles bore questionable certificates of payment. What's being done to address that, attorney?
Well, first, we had to suspend what they called a temporary or provisional release. Before, when they imported vehicles, they would be allowed a temporary release even without the ATRIC. The ATRIC is the Authority to Release Imported Goods issued by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. So immediately, the commissioner suspended that. So right now, if you want to import vehicles, you have to wait for the ATRIG before you can release it at the customs. Now, with respect to the LTO, we have a joint TWG already working on streamlining the process because it appears that there were some certificates of payment which appeared to have been forged or fraudulent, and yet it was registered by the LTO. So there's a TWG ongoing. We are strengthening our partnership with the LTO. The good thing is that Assistant Secretary Marcos Lacanela and Commissioner Ariel Pomociano are good friends. And the communication is very easy with the LTO now. So we're strengthening our partnership. We're strengthening our processes. We're making sure that the certificates of payment are authentic. And we are also putting in place other measures limiting the officers of the BOC who can transmit certificates of payment and inclusion of all material data in the single the SAD document. No? So these are measures that would make it more difficult to import vehicles and misdeclare them or misclassify them.
So kumbaga mas mahigpit na talaga, attorney. But going back to the seizure of assets, the BIR has also issued a notice of restraint and levy directing you, the BOC, to turn over the remaining properties of the Discayas. Ano? Attorney, meron po bang conflicting mandates ngayon between agencies when it comes to asset recovery, and how are you navigating that?
There's no conflict, no. With respect to the jurisdiction of the Bureau of Customs, it is limited to those that would undergo importation process, and if there would be deficiencies in that process. On the part of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, their perspective is with respect to tax deficiencies, perhaps the ITR deficiencies, no. So there is really no conflict there. As to how we harmonize it, during the TWG meeting in the ICI, actually the other day, we had this subgrouping, no, of entities that would be concentrating on asset recovery, and the BOC was tasked to chair that committee. So we are creating this subcommittee under the TWG, and we will be making sure that our processes are harmonized. We do not overlap one another. We do not have redundancies. There will be policies in place, and there will be another meeting for that purpose. No? So again, to make sure that we have a very efficient and effective process.
Okay, attorney, on other matters, BOC recently launched itong a new portal called Isumbong kay Commissioner. How exactly will this improve the way complaints are handled, attorney, no? Because recently lang din, naglabas ng listahan yung ARTA at kasama po ang BOC sa top 10 most complained agencies in the government.
First of all, this was really inspired by what the president started. Having that ability to directly communicate with the head of the agency is a very empowering feature for our stakeholders. And to be candid about it, the commissioner is very hands-on with respect to this project. He wants to monitor all verifiable complaints that would go through this portal. Now, how we handle this, we have allocated, I think, more than 28 individuals from the Bureau of Customs, not to mention focal persons for each office that might be subject of a complaint, to make sure that all complaints are handled efficiently and in a very timely manner. No? So, very hands-on ang ating commissioner patungkol dito. Now, with respect to the ARTA issue, it's not something to be proud of, no? But if you look at the numbers, I think we're at the bottom 10. So, I think that I take that as a small victory. We're improving. Hopefully, with more processes like this, we can improve some more.
Attorney, finally, my last question. What if the complaints involve sensitive issues such as corruption or irregular practices within the BOC? Can the public expect that this will lead to actual action from the BOC, from the commissioner?
Definitely. Every complaint, every actionable complaint will be treated with confidentiality. If there is verifiable document that would be or evidence that would be best, we can assure you that it will be acted upon. And assuming we move forward, no, assuming there would be administrative or criminal cases to be filed in relation to the complaints raised through this portal, that would also be posted in the website. Again, the direction of Commissioner Ariel Pomociano is full transparency. So complaints with respect to admin matters, criminal with respect to graft, bribery, etc., that will also be posted in our website eventually.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I know you're mobile, attorney, but thanks for stopping and taking the time to talk to us. That was BOC Deputy Chief of Staff Attorney Chris Bendijo.
Thank you and good morning.